Welcome to the Scottish Highlands, one of the most awe-inspiring places on Earth. It's where magic, myth, and legend are forged into this beautiful landscape and culture. We're here to show you our favorite things to do in the Scottish Highlands, from ferry rides across Loch Ness to a historic battleground that changed the Highland way of life forever. And of course, we show you some fun things you can do in the Highland capital of Inverness. Our first stop is the magical Loch Ness. So Grant and I are here at Urquhart Castle on the banks of Loch Ness, Scotland's most famous lake. And this place is known for mystery, mystique, legend. And there's one thing here that a lot of people have claimed they've seen, but some believe them, some don't. But Grant and I are here to tell you today that we have seen the impossible. Yes, we are here in Scotland telling you we have seen a sunny day. It's actually quite warm and really nice. All weather jokes aside, seeing Loch Ness is a must-do if you're in the Highlands. It's beautiful any day of the year, whether you have a classic rainy day or a gorgeous sunny day like we had. Loch Ness is famous not only for the Loch Ness Monster, but it's also the site of one of the coolest castles in Scotland, Urquhart Castle. To get to the castle, we booked a 2.5-hour ferry cruise package through a company called Loch Ness by Jacobite. They offer different cruise packages with different pickup points. The package that we booked started at Clansman Harbour, about 9 miles south of Inverness. There is parking at the harbour, but the parking lot fills up quickly, so try to get there early. Grant and I literally got the last spot. Our cruise package included a round-trip ferry ride to the castle, which is a 25-minute ride each way. Once you get to the castle, you have 75 minutes to explore the castle ruins, take pictures, visit the gift shop, and grab some lunch at the cafe. The present ruins of Urquhart Castle date back to the 13th century, but noble families had lived on the site as early as the mid-500s, or maybe even earlier. Urquhart Castle saw a lot of military action from the 1200s onward, and it even fell under the control of Robert the Bruce in 1306. Over the next couple of centuries, the castle passed back and forth between various clans and the crown, until it was finally destroyed as part of Jacobite uprisings in 1692. Today, Urquhart Castle stands as a monument to this area's storied and sometimes violent past. As we walked through the ruins, I couldn't help but think if walls could talk, what kind of amazing stories could these ancient stones tell us? I guess all we can do is appreciate the beauty of this place and leave the rest to our imaginations. Urquhart Castle was an amazing experience, but it's just the beginning of our Highland adventures. We got back on the ferry, made our way to the mainland, and headed to our accommodation for the night. Another castle, but not just any castle, a haunted castle. This is Tulloch Castle, with a history that goes back to the 12th century. It's only about a 20-minute drive outside of Inverness. Back in the day, this is where the clan chief or laird would live. But tonight, we get to live like a laird and call this place home. Tulloch Castle is a boutique hotel with 22 unique rooms, a 250-year-old Great Hall, an on-site restaurant, and an on-site bar. And yes, allegedly some ghosts. But what 900-year-old castle doesn't have a friendly ghost or two?
Do believe he spoke like do I.
And yes, this is me wandering around a haunted castle with a glass of wine, because why not? Now, to be clear, I didn't book this place because of the ghosts. I booked it because I thought it would be nice to stay in a historic castle. One additional perk was a very important service they provide to guests.
So we are staying at Tulloch Castle, which is north of Inverness, and we are going to be using their laundering service. And just to give you guys kind of a heads up, so this whole bag is maybe like 5 days worth of clothes for me and Teresa, and it's going to cost us about £60. So some of you might be thinking like, holy crap, that's really expensive. To give you a perspective, we packed really light. We've tried everything from washing our clothes in a sink. We've tried we've stayed in an Airbnb and realized that not all Airbnbs have dryers. They have washers, but they do not have dryers. And so we're willing to spend the money, £60 to get this laundered. Um, Ultimately, it saved us from needing to bring a really large, like, roller full of 2 weeks worth of clothes. If you want to pack light, do it. Just know that you're going to be bouncing back and forth between washing your clothes in the sink and then maybe paying a little bit more than you would have expected to get 5 days worth of clothes. Friends. Okay. All right. So less than 3 hours later, we have 5 days worth of clothes for both me and Teresa, washed, dried, and nicely folded, returned to our room. We didn't have to go anywhere to get our new clothes. This is definitely worth it. Way better than washing in the sink. So,
Like Grant said, £60 is definitely a premium for getting your laundry done, but whenever you travel, there's trade-offs. So the time we saved not going to a laundromat or lugging around more clothes in a big suitcase was worth it to us. But ultimately, it's up to you to decide what's worth it for you. Anyway, with the time we saved this time, we ended up having a nice dinner at the castle's restaurant. I'm a pasta girl, so I got the ratatouille pasta. Grant got the lamb shank, and for dessert, we shared a sticky toffee pudding. All were delicious. And just as we ended our night with dinner at the castle restaurant, we started our next day with breakfast at the same place. A hearty traditional Scottish breakfast to fuel us up for a very busy day of sightseeing. Day 2 in the Highlands, and our first stop is a place called Clava Cairns, just about 15 minutes outside of Inverness. Clava Cairns are about 4,000 years old and were built by the prehistoric people who lived here to house the dead. The cairns include rings of standing stones. And of course, I can't think of standing stones without thinking of my favorite show, Outlander. And Grant, being the understanding husband that he is, agreed to recreate this photo together. But even aside from my Outlander fandom, Clava Cairns was still a really amazing place to visit. And it's free, so there's really no reason not to go. And as a bonus tip, there's another site up the road called Milton of Clava. We didn't get to see it, but it does include a medieval chapel and more standing stones. Next on our Highland agenda was visiting a battlefield that changed the course of Scottish history. This is Culloden.
So we're standing here at where the Battle of Culloden took place, which was the Highlander Jacobites against the British government army. It's otherwise known as the battle that resounded around the world.
So, quick history lesson. The date is April 16th, 1746. It's the turning point of a war that divided families and set clan against clan. On one side is the Jacobite army, fighting to restore the crown to the Catholic Stuart king. On the other side was King George II's government army to prevent that from happening. The whole Battle of Culloden lasted only about an hour, but about 1,300 men were killed, most of them Jacobites. The loss of the battle for the Jacobites marked an end to the Highland way of life as they knew it. So visiting the Culloden Battlefield and Museum is a great way to help preserve this important piece of history.
This place is currently being taken care of by the National Trust for Scotland. Take some tours and go see the battlefield and the tomb sites for all the Highlander clans that passed away during this battle. So it's definitely worth a stop if you're here in the Inverness area. It's a great piece of Scottish history, so come check it out.
And our next stop is just north of Culloden, so you can easily see both sites in one day. We're headed to Fort George.
We're here at Fort George, which was built just a couple years after Culloden, and it's about 20 miles from Culloden to here. They built this as a way of stamping their fortification in this area and solidifying their military might in the Highlands. So let's explore.
As Grant said, Fort George was built after the Battle of Culloden, as a way for the British to suppress any other thoughts of another Jacobite uprising. And this place is massive. It's large enough to accommodate 1,600 infantry, more than 80 guns, a magazine for nearly 2,700 gunpowder barrels, and much more. As impressive and battle-ready as this fort was, not a single shot has been fired from here in combat. One of the highlights was visiting the Highlander Museum, which contains the largest collection of Scottish military artifacts outside of Edinburgh. It's a tribute to Highland soldiers from just after the Battle of Culloden to the present day. And don't miss amazing views of Moray Firth from the main rampart, which stretches more than a kilometer, or about 0.6 miles. The area that the ramparts enclose could fit about 5 soccer pitches. Like I said, this place is huge, so don't forget to take a break if you need it. And finally, no trip to the Highlands is complete without visiting the capital of the Highlands, Inverness. We are in Inverness, which is the capital of the Scottish Highlands, and it's beautiful. We'll make sure that you guys spend your time wisely and see the best that Inverness has to offer. Inverness was first settled before the 6th century. It was one of the chief strongholds of the Picts people, and its strategic location on the River Ness made it a target for conflicts in the area over the centuries. Today, it's a modern city with updated infrastructure and plenty of unique places to visit. The top attraction here has a bit of an asterisk next to it. It's Inverness Castle, and here comes the asterisk part. We can't actually go inside. The castle is undergoing a 2.5-year renovation, and it's not scheduled to open again until 2025. But it still deserves a place on your list because it makes for an amazing backdrop for pictures. It sits high on Castle Hill, so you can get great views of it from all over the city. But my favorite view of the castle is from the river. Which is a nice segue to the next attraction on our list, the River Ness and all the unique bridges that span it. The bridges help make Inverness an extremely walker-friendly city. There are a ton of shops, restaurants, and pubs along the riverfront, so wander down there and explore. The next place on our list is a book lover's dream, meaning my dream. We're here at Leakey's Bookshop. Leakey's has been an Inverness institution for more than 44 years. Imagine multiple levels of packed bookshelves, and it's no ordinary bookstore. It has an impressive collection of rare and antiquarian books. Most of them are only available to view in person here, but it does have a growing e-commerce site with more than 8,000 books listed. And we can't leave Inverness without sharing our top food recommendation. Try this restaurant and bar called The White House, which is just down the road from Leakey's Bookshop. They serve an eclectic menu made with local ingredients, and they also specialize in cocktails. And honestly, I was so hungry by the time that we got here that I only remembered to take one photo of our food, so here's my pasta. It was butternut squash, and it was delicious. We hope you enjoyed this tour of the Highlands and Inverness. We're getting to the final stretch of our UK trip, so subscribe to our channel to make sure you don't miss when our next episode comes out, when we head over the sea to Skye. See you next time!